All right, questions 1, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have any requests? All right, we'll start with question 1. Okay. Now, question 1 is first of all, you want to recognize it as a triangular prism, right? The base here is this triangle that I'm tracing in blue. So when we find the volume, we're looking for the base area and we want to find the height. And we want to multiply the base area and the height. So because the base area is a triangle, right, that volume then is going to be 1/2 of the base times the height of the triangle. But then we still have to multiply by the height of the prism. And I'm just going to write that second H in a different color just so that you guys can see we're talking about that H there is the red H. So you have the height of the triangle. The height of the triangle is this height here that I'm doing in green. So I just want to trace that in green. So we have the height of the triangle in our formula, but then we also have the height of the prism. So it's those two H's that we have to pay attention to. But then we just go ahead and substitute, right? Volume is going to be equal to 1/2. We have the base of the triangle. Base of the triangle is going to be 9. And the height of the triangles... Say it again?
The problem's not shown.
Oh, you don't see it?
No, I see your icon.
Oh, wait a second. Huh, so you're not but you don't see it? Vanessa,
No, I'm seeing you, I'm not seeing the problem.
does everybody
You
else?
might have this thing pinned. You might have like, you know when you pin someone?
Oh yeah, you might have it pinned, Vanessa. Everybody else can see it though?
I can see it.
Okay. All right, Vanessa, you'll figure it out, I hope.
Okay.
You probably do just have, this screen pinned and not, the other screen, because I'm on here twice, Vanessa. I log in twice. So what you might want to do is look for, the people and then pin the screen, not pin my face. Thank you very much. Okay, so back to the problem. 1/2 base times height. The base is 9 and the height is 5. So that's going to be 9 times 5. But then we have the height of the prism, which is 10. And then when we multiply all that together, that's where we get 225. And these are going to be, cubic inches, right? It's supposed to be inches cubed. Should be 225 cubic inches, right? Which is answer D. And like I said yesterday, 9 times out of 10, when you're looking for the volume of a triangular prism, it really is just multiplying the 3 numbers that are given, and then you just take 1/2 of it. 9 times out of 10. Now, did I give you a problem yesterday where I gave you 4 numbers? Yes, I did. But more often than not, if you see a triangular prism and 3 numbers, you're going to multiply the length, width, and height, and then just take 1/2 of it. All right? What were the other problems that you guys said?
I said 7 and 8.
Okay, let's look at 7. Yeah, now 7 and 8 were tougher. Now, I didn't give you problems like these yesterday. So today these problems are, a bit tougher than the ones that I gave you yesterday. But I want you to be able to do them. Okay, trapezoids, the area of a trapezoid we're going to have to find here because the base of this prism for problem 7, which I'm tracing in red, is a trapezoid. So when we find the volume, it's going to be the base area times the height. Now the height, let me trace over this in blue. The height is this blue segment. The height is the height of the prism as it sits on the base. So we have to find the area of the trapezoid, and then we have to multiply that by the height of the prism. Okay, so let's start with the area of the trapezoid. Now there are different ways that you could do this. Last year we used formulas, but we also used, where we would deconstruct the figure, meaning kind of take it apart. So let's do the deconstruction. Right, so I'm going to kind of create a couple of different figures here in my trapezoid. Let's start with the rectangle. If you guys look carefully, what's the length and width of the rectangle? Can anyone give me that length and width?
Is it 13 or 4?
Okay, it is the 4. The 4 is correct, but this top segment here is the same as this top segment here, right? So this is 7 times 4, so that blue area is 28, right? It's 7 times 4, it's a rectangle, so that blue area is 28. Now let's talk about the red parts now. The red part, we have 2 triangles, and the triangle is 1/2 base times height. Well, if this whole distance here, let me trace that, if this whole distance here is 13, and then from here to here is 7, from here to here is 7, then from here to here is 13. If I take 7 away from 13, that leaves 6. 6 left over for this space here, this distance here, and this distance here have to have a total of 6, which means this is 3 and that's 3. All right, now just think about that for a second. All right, this is deconstructing it. This is how you would have done it as a 6th grader. So we're deconstructing that. So that's 3. We know the height's 4. So what's 3 times 4? 3 times 4 is 12. So that means this triangle is 6. This triangle has an area of 6. So the base area, capital B, is going to be 28 plus the 12. And 28 plus 12 means that base area is 40, what is that, square meters. Now that might be really confusing to try to deconstruct that. We could just use a formula for the base area as well. All right, now I'm going to show you guys finding that base area using the formula. All right, because the formula looks like this. Capital B, base area is a trapezoid, and the area of a trapezoid is 1/2. Oops, we messed that up. It's 1/2 times the height times B1 plus B2. That's the formula for the area of a trapezoid. So my capital B is going to be 1/2. Now, what do I need? I need the height of the trapezoid. So I'm going to erase this so that we could see it and start clean again, because now we're just going to find that base area a different way. We know the base area is going to be 40, but let's see how we get to 40 using the formula. All right, here's the height. The height of the prism is 4. Right, the height of the trapezoid, I should say. That's my bad. Height of the trapezoid is 4, and then B1 and B2 are these 2 segments here. B1 and B2 are going to be my 7 and 13. So when you multiply, 1/2 times 4 is 2. 7 plus 13 is 20. 2 times 20, I get the same base area of 40 meters squared. So you could find the base area this way, or you could find the base area using the deconstruction part. Right? That's up to you guys, however you want to find the base area. But you have to find the base area first. And then the volume's easy, because volume is your base area times your height. So your volume is going to be 40 times the height of the prism, which is 4. Right? And 40 times 4 is simply 160 square meters, or cubic meters, sorry. My bad. This should have been cubic meters up here, and this should have been cubic meters. Right? Units are cubic units when we do volume. So the tricky part for that problem is finding the area of the base. But once you find the area of the base, you're just multiplying by the height of the prism, which is 4. And you can find the area of the base using the formula, right? This is the formula up here, right? Or you can find the area of the base using the deconstruction like we did earlier. All right? But they're tricky. You know, I'm not going to say otherwise. They're tricky, but you know, I still want us to be able to play around with problems like that and be able to figure them out. All right? All right. Any other questions with that problem? If you didn't understand something, you want me to go back over something? All right. We'll look at 8 then. Okay, let's look at 8. Now, problem 8, another problem that I know is difficult, but I want you guys to be able to figure some of these things out. Now, this is what's called a composite figure. A composite figure is a figure that's made up of more than one figure. All right. We're going to call this figure 1, and we're going to call this figure 2. Now, what is the name of figure 1? Right? Figure 1 is this. Oops. Let me undo that. Figure 1, right, is this part up here. Right? What do we call that? What's the name of that figure?
Triangular prism.
Perfect. So, volume 1, do it over here. Volume 1 is a triangular prism, right? And when we find the volume of a triangular prism, it's still going to be base area times height, right? But the base area is a triangle. So it's 1/2 base times height, and then times the height of the triangle. I got to keep making that a capital H. All right? So volume 1 is going to be 1/2. Well, what are the base and the height of the triangle? That's where we find the right angle symbol of our triangle. It's going to be this segment here, which is 8, and then the height here, which is 6. So that's 1/2 of 8 times 6, and then we need the height of the prism as it sits on its base. And that's always a little tougher for kids to see that height of the prism as it sits on its base. But that's this blue segment here, right? You have to imagine that prism sitting on its triangular base. How high is that prism going to be when it's sitting on that triangular base? And that height is going to be 4, right? That's our capital H, is that 4. So when you multiply 1/2 of 8 times 6 times 4, volume 1, let me keep that in red. Volume 1 is going to be 96. And those are cubic inches for volume 1. Volume 2 is this figure down here. That's the easier one, right? Volume 2 is the rectangular prism. So volume 2, still know is going to be base area times the height, but volume 2 is length times width times height because it's a rectangular prism, right? Because the base area is length times width. So volume 2 is going to be equal to 8 times 4 times 3. 8 times 4 times 3, and 8 times 4 times 3 is also 96 cubic inches. All right, so then it's just a matter of finding the total volume. So the total volume is simply the sum of V1 and V2. V1 plus V2, which is equal to 192. Those are cubic inches. All right, 192 cubic inches for the total volume. All right, so it's not that difficult, but it's like two problems in one. You have to find the volume of the triangular prism on top, then find the volume of the rectangular prism on the bottom, and then you're just adding the two together. All right? What other questions you guys have with these problems? Anything else that you didn't understand or you're not sure about, or if you just want to check an answer, right, that's fine too. Leo, you gotta raise that mic, kid. I can't hear you.
Can we check 5 and 6?
Absolutely, Leo. All right, so let's check.
Mr. Plata, I gotta go. Thank you.
No problem, Vanessa. See you later.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, problem, you said 5 and 6, right, Leo? Let's see,
Yep.
3. Okay, here's question 5. All right, question 5 should be answer A. It's 1,024 cubic feet. All right, you have to, just like kind of like what we did with that other problem, you have to do two separate problems. So you want to find the volume of this rectangular prism up top, and then you want to find the volume of the rectangular prism on the bottom, and then you're just adding those two together. All right?
What?
Did you get that answer, or you get something else?
No, I got that one. I was
Okay,
checking
good.
if I did
Yep, good job. And then question 6, you said, right?
Yeah.
Question 6 is a triangular prism. And remember, once again I said, when you have a triangular prism, Leo, if you're just given the three numbers, it's just length times width times height, but then you're just taking 1/2 of it, right? If you're given,
Okay, yeah.
right, if you're given the three numbers, because the volume of a triangular prism will be half the volume of the rectangular prism, right? So if you're just given 3 numbers, it's just 1/2 of the length, width, and height. But there are some examples, like the one I gave you yesterday, you had 4 numbers, so you have to be careful which numbers you choose, but then you would still take 1/2 of that.
Okay.
All right? Guys, anything else? Any other questions you guys have?
No, I got mine.
No, you're good? All right.
Yeah.
Hey, well, take care. I'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm giving you a little, another day of these, but a little bit different problems. So the problems are a little tougher. They're more of the composite figures. All right?
Okay.
And then Friday will be a nice, easy day. You're just going to watch a video Friday.
Alright.
All right, guys. Take care then if you don't have any more questions.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Have a good day.
Take care.